to get comfortable in your chair. And just tell your mind to relax, and your heart to relax. Take a breath. Out. Just feel how the chair supports your body. In this moment, what is lacking? I wonder what my next thought will be. We recognize that there is a quiet, still place within us. And it is at this place where we meet all of the intelligence of the universe. We sit here now and affirm our intention to tap into this wisdom, to open our mind and our heart. We recognize that we will be pointed toward our own knowing, our own wisdom during this time. This time is of great purpose. I am here for a reason. I am open. I am willing. Let us begin. One more breath. We breathe out. So today we're talking about wisdom, which looks like where we were going to start the service today, if you noticed the little faux pas with the slides. So wisdom doesn't come through thinking, though the answers come through thought. So when something happens, when there is a challenge before us, or something that we need to figure out, or some kind of change, the first thing that we can tend to do is go, okay, what do I think? How do I think myself out of this situation? How do I think myself into and navigate through this situation? And the recognition is that though wisdom is delivered through thought, it doesn't come from thought. Can you feel that? So in order to tap into our wisdom, we actually want to transcend thought. We want to go to where thought isn't. We want to let go of our thoughts. We want to be in that space. Tap into that. And then once we move out, we will receive our wisdom through our thoughts. There's a distinction. Okay. So to reach our wisdom requires openness to any answers. Any, I put it in all caps. We have to release the particulars. We have to release the form. We have to release the way we've decided it should work out, or what we've decided would be the best thing, right? And that's what happens. We already, when a problem exists, right away we go to, this wouldn't be a problem if, right? Fill in the blank. Wouldn't be a problem if, and now, not without even necessarily acknowledging it with our conscious mind, we've decided the answer. We've decided what the outcome should look like. And so we can get into, it becomes more difficult to receive our wisdom because we have blinders on and we don't even know it. We have this certain outcome decided, and so anything that looks like wisdom or guidance that leads away from whatever that answer is, we don't hear it. We can't see it. And we don't even know that that's happening. So it's to become aware and conscious of the fact that as soon as you have an issue, as soon as you have a challenge, right away, your mind comes up with the answer. So our work is to, in the moment, recognize, what did my mind say the answer was? Okay, that, now I'm going to let that go. Now I'm going to release it. And here's the rub. See the light came on? I see the light. Okay, so, so we let go of that, and it doesn't mean that that's not actually the outcome. That's the irony, right? it doesn't mean that that's not the thing. But it means to get to the thing, to get to the outcome, we have to release our attachment to the outcome. Does that make sense? Okay. So there is human wisdom and there is divine wisdom. In divine wisdom, you can say universal wisdom, God's wisdom, divine will, divine plan. Use your own words there. I call it divine wisdom. It is the intelligence of the universe. The intelligence of the universe, which is the mind of God, whatever word you use to describe that, that wisdom can come from there. And wisdom can also come from our human, conditioned, subconscious mind. Right? So the recognition is that we have subconscious programming that happens to us. And 90% of the day, those learned folks, tell us that 90% of the day our subconscious mind runs the program, right? It's doing the programming, so everything you do is being run by that subconscious mind, right? So there is wisdom that comes from that subconscious mind. Let's see if I can think of an example. Wisdom would be, okay, in this scenario, we're pretending I'm not married and my husband's not downstairs with our children, okay? So let's say that I'm a single gal and I walk by a gentleman and I go, and my wisdom goes, talk to that guy. There's something, go talk to that guy. Now there's one of two scenarios that can be happening. That could be my subconscious mind, the conditioning that began from 0 to 6 in my mind, and just take my word for it when I tell you that if that's what's speaking, I should probably not talk to that guy. I should probably go the other way from that guy. Does that make sense? Because we have a conditioned mind. So the recognition, the realization is that wisdom can come from both places. And the wisdom that we want comes from universal intelligence. It is the wisdom that we all share and that has the totality, the whole picture in mind, right? So we want to be very conscious about tapping into that wisdom as opposed to, and this is what Marianne Williamson would say, is that we can, the Course in Miracles says this, and Marianne Williamson says it very eloquently, that we can learn from love or we can learn from pain, right? We can choose. And in that scenario that I just gave you with myself and the gentleman, I could learn through love, which would mean that I would listen to the divine wisdom, tap into the divine wisdom that says, not so much, and then go on my merry way. Or I can learn through the pain of having a relationship and then understanding that my subconscious mind brought me to that. And but it's great. Because here's the great news. No matter what, we end up there. But at any moment, at any point, at any time, you can go, all this, if it's not working, guess what? I'm dropping it. My intention is divine wisdom. My intention is the intelligence of the universe. My intention is the highest good. Let us begin. Because we can always begin now and start to shift. All wisdom is within you doesn't mean you should always do it on your own. I'm saying this again because I need to hear it. All wisdom is within you does not mean you need to do it on your own. For a really long time, when I first really got this idea that all wisdom was within me and that I didn't need anybody or anything else outside of me to tap into that and to have that relationship with the universe, with God, I went, okay, great. No need to leave the house. No need to talk to anybody. I'll just read the books. And that's why you guys hear me quote so many books, right? It's because I didn't talk to anybody for years. I just read and I thought, well, if I just consume this book and I consume this one and I consume this one, then clearly I'm going to get it. And guess what? I did. But it took me so much longer to do than it does with my friends that I'm interacting with right now that maybe haven't been on their conscious path for as long as I have, and they've already surpassed me, and my ego goes, well, isn't that lovely? You had to spend 15, 20 years in a kitchen reading books by yourself, and they got it. They're good. And the reason why they're good is because they understand that just because wisdom is within you does not mean that the support of others the support of a community does not benefit you. In fact, it does more than just benefit you. It propels you. I'm not going to get the word right. Thich Nhat Hanh, it's a Zen Buddhist word. Tom, maybe you know it. It's Sangha? Sangha, right? Okay, so this is the energy of the collective, right? Okay, so here's the, I love this. Okay, so everyone that's on their path, right? Everyone that's on their path consciously and is intentionally working on their consciousness, intentionally tapping into divine wisdom. There is a collective energy to that. And we are a part of that. And we can choose to tap into that energy and rely on it and let it carry us in those moments where we've forgotten. You know, those moments where we know all the tools, we've read all the books, we know the thing to do, but we can't do it, we just can't get there from here. There is a collective that we can count on and we can reach into and tap into energetically, but there is also someone you can pick up the phone and call. An actual human being that has a consciousness that is open and willing and available to you, and when you have that, you will get past those hurdles, those moments that feel lost, where you can't reach yourself. You get back to them so much quicker if you will accept the help of supportive others, if you will reach out for that. And part of what this community is about that. It's about creating that space for one another so that there is somebody we can pick up the phone and call. Okay, Lydia, pick up the phone and call, is what I'm trying to say. Then, surrender. So Gabrielle Bernstein, The Universe Has Your Back. She has, I think it's 4 or 5 laws of spiritual surrender, or the steps to spiritual surrender. And this is huge. So when looking for our wisdom, when understanding that there is something more to know, something more to be discovered before another action can be taken, before the answer manifests itself. The answer is to tap in, transcend, have that intention, and then surrender. So here are the steps to surrender. Let go of prayers and thoughts of what you think you need and replace it with the intention for the highest good of all. This is why it becomes really, really important that first moment where the problem comes up, listen. Listen to what your mind does, because your mind's going to go, that's the problem, this is the answer. It's going to automatically think of the answer. It's usually just the exact opposite of whatever the thing is, right? And so then you notice that, you recognize it, and then you go, I'm going to take my hands off the wheel through prayer. I'm going to take my hands off the wheel, I'm letting it go, releasing that, and instead of my intention for that outcome, my intention is for the highest good. And with that intention, we automatically straight shot to divine wisdom, because you've just let go of the ego. You just let go of that little I for the we. And then focus on what is thriving. Pay attention to what is thriving. You guys are here, listening to me. You could be doing better than that. Right? It's a great day. I'm breathing. Whatever it takes, the littlest thing, focus on what's thriving. Obstacles are detours in the right direction, she says. The children are going outside. Obstacles are detours in the right direction. This is what Gabrielle Bernstein says, and I love it. That is the recognition. One of my prayers that I say often is, when I think I've got the way, when I think that I've kind of intuited this is the path and this is the way to go, I say, impede my path if this isn't the highest good. Throw a wrench in it. Make something happen. Obstacles are detours in the right direction. Trust in the process of life. That process of life is the divine intelligence, the universal intelligence that you are a part of. What we want to do is align ourselves with that, not fight against what is. If an obstacle arises, that's divine intelligence is going that way. You go too, jump on board. Forget any idea you have that says it's the wrong idea. Just jump on board, because guess what? It might be that the whole lesson is that you have to jump on board, and it is the wrong idea. But you got to jump on board first, and then you go, oh, it's the wrong idea. Oh, I knew that. I felt that. Oh, the point is I can count on my wisdom. You know, we can't know what anything is for. Obstacles are detours in the right direction. And the last one, ask for a sign, then be thankful it is on its way. Ask for a sign. If you ask for a sign, raise your hand. Does anybody ask for a sign? Yeah. Ask for a sign. I do, but not enough. Like, why don't I say ask for a sign all the time? Why do I just, like, in particular ask for signs? I want them all the time, actually, about everything. Here's the thing. I want to give you a story, and I asked her beforehand if I could share this story. It's my mother-in-law's story. My husband is in the process of going out on his own, and so he's looking for a shop. He is a carpenter, so he needs a very specific kind of thing, and there's all these laws about, like, can't spray varnish, and you like, gotta have something else, because lots of, you know, EPA regulations. This stuff is environmental kind of stuff, so it has to be right. So there's a lot of things that go in. It's not just that you could find any old building and move right in, right? And so my mother-in-law, it occurred to her, she had the inspiration, well, she had a cousin who has passed on, and this cousin meant a lot to her, and this cousin's integrity meant something to her, and he was a positive presence in her life. And right away, she thought of him. He just came to her mind, and she thought, well, if Keith, that's my husband, her son, needs a shop, I'm going to ask David. I'm going to ask David for help. Who's passed on, right? So she asked David for help. The recognition is that we're all energy, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only changes form, right? So the I'm done. Right? Hello. Okay. So, love you. So energy can't be created or destroyed. It only changes form. That's probably David. Thank you, David. So the recognition is that we are physical bodies, but we are energetic bodies too. So the end of our physical existence is not the end of our energetic existence. So Susan says, hey, David, Keith needs a shop. And 2 days later, and my husband's been looking at a lot of shops, and she's been going with him to see a lot of these places. This place comes up. And Keith tells me and starts giving me the stats on this shop that he's seen. And right away, I'm really upset because it sounds like the right place. And that scares the bejeebies out of me. Scares the pants off me. So he starts talking. I'm like, oh God, this is the one. I mean, I can just feel it. And so I don't say anything. My guidance says, you be quiet. Don't say anything to Susan. Don't say anything to Keith. Let them go do this, and you be quiet. So I'm being quiet. I was very quiet. Don't look skeptical. I was quiet. And so they go see this shop, and they walk into this shop, and they both look up, and on the ceiling is painted clouds of an industrial shop. And David is a meteorologist, was a meteorologist. And as soon as Susan looked up and saw the clouds, she started to cry. Because she knew for sure that it had been sent. She could feel the energetic connection. Ask for a sign. Ask for a sign. And when you're on your path, say, if this isn't it, if this isn't the highest good for all, impede it. And then when it gets impeded, be thankful. Ask for a sign, be thankful before the sign, knowing it's on its way. And then when you think you've surrendered all you could possibly surrender, surrender again. Because it's a daily, moment-to-moment thing. All the time. Surrender. And then as the Amish prayer goes, when you pray, move your feet. Then go. Go be in your life. Go be present in the life that is in front of you. Go be present with the life, the person that is with you, the person that is next to you, the person that's in front of you. Forget the thing. When it's time to deal with the thing, life will show you it's time. But until then, get on with life, the one you're living. I think we all got that. The life was helpful. Let's say a prayer. We'll take a deep breath together. I'm going to ask in this moment that you bring to your mind a situation, an outcome that you are wanting or looking for. And I invite you to allow my words to be the words of your heart. I give this outcome. I give the energy and attention that I have put into figuring it out, into controlling it, into manipulating the situation, into trying to figure out the best way. I give all that energy and I set it on the altar. It is my intention to take that energy and redirect it. Give it back to myself, back to the life that I am living here and now. I recognize that my presence, my energy is a gift. And I intend to give the presence and the gift of my energy to my life, to the one I'm living, to the person in front of me, to the situation that is before me, to the step, this one. My energy, my presence, that's my gift. And my life deserves it. I recognize that there is a place within me, a quiet, still spot where I can transcend thought, where I can rest in the space between. I reach this place anytime I take a conscious breath. Anytime I ask myself, am I aware? I reach this place. I relax in it. I enjoy it. And then I let it go. And I come back to life, back to the world, knowing that every single step I take is guided. Knowing that all things will be made clear. Knowing that there is a sign and it's on its way. And I am grateful for that sign. Let's take another breath together and just be still for a moment. Entered and touched a sacred, still space. And it is my intention to take this space with me. I have created it, and it is with me now and as I go forth. As you are ready, you can open your eyes.